I really hate it when people come to me and they say they need to make a certain amount of money, otherwise they just can't afford to live here. Like, I made it work. You don't need to live in a tower. You know, you can live in a shitty, terrible apartment and have 6 roommates, pay $400 a month, deal with the rats and the cockroaches, eat ramen, eat tofu. If you want it bad enough, you will figure it out. So anyone, and people tell me all the time, especially younger agents, you know, millennials and Gen Zs who just drive me crazy, who are like, well, yeah, but I can't afford to live there. It's just too expensive. I'm like, too expensive for your taste, for the way you want to live, the way you want to show yourself off on Instagram, or what is it? And they can never answer the question. Like, oh, well, it's not safe. I'm like, oh, dude, I did it. You know, if you want it bad enough, you will make it happen.
Do people find it hard to picture you scraping by, you know, going to Koreatown, you know, I mean, because you know, they see your lavish lifestyle. It's hard to picture you, you know, in a place with rats.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess so. I think so. That's why in the book, you know, I talked about it a lot at the beginning, because I wanted to kind of like break down that barrier of what people assume of me when they see me on TV and the vlogs and all that stuff. That like, this wasn't, you know, I figured it out from the ground up, and I'm still trying to figure it out today. And I still go up against real estate agents that are born here, that have amazing connections that I don't have, and I lose deals to them all the time. Right. You know, and it just fuels the fire for me to do even more.
You mentioned millennials and Gen X. You're kind of Gen X, right?
I'm a millennial.
You're
1984.
Millennial. So you're slagging off the millennials. Do they get a bad rap, or is it, you know, be honest?
I think there's an apathy to younger generations where they just don't care, or they care about things that they shouldn't care about, you know? And I think that there is a lack of hard work because they didn't have the baby boomer parents and the generations before them who literally had to like sew shoes to make a living. You know, like my kids, I'm not gonna have those stories. Like, I've got my story, but they're not gonna grow up in that lifestyle. You know, like people have, I mean, so it is what it is. I mean, people have so many different ways of making money now and raising families that, like, all those old school stories of walking 5 miles to get the bus and to do that are gone. Yeah. You know, our stories now are going to be like, I had to wait 10 minutes for my Uber. You don't know what it was like back in the day. Like, is that really going to motivate the next generations to work their ass off? I don't know.
Yeah, I worry about that too. Was your dad a big part of teaching you the value of money and hard work? I mean, that must have come from somewhere.
Yeah, I thank him at the beginning of the book. I resented a lot of the way that he raised me when I was growing up because it sucked. You know, it was all discipline and structure, right? It was the power of like the minute, the hour, and the power of the dollar. I had to write an essay once on the importance of not being lazy because I didn't hang up my jacket the right way. Like, you know, he really, really cracked a whip, and I am incredibly grateful for it now. But at the time, it sucked. Like, I wasn't allowed to play video games. I wasn't allowed to, like, I had curfews when my friends didn't have curfews. Like, we had every single night at dinner, I had to sit down and walk my dad through my day and what I learned and what I'm gonna do better the next day. Like, since I was 8.
Wow.
Right? Sundays, I always, when I went to college, I had to call him and walk him through what I learned from the week and what I was gonna do the next week, to the point where I still do it today because it's weird not to do it. And I do think it helps me to like think about my business as a whole movement that way. And like, so now I probably annoy my dad calling him all the time. He's like, you know, I already raised you. Go off and leave me alone. But it is helpful. But I do, yeah, for sure. I credit him a lot.
So your structure and discipline came from somewhere. I mean, a lot of it you discovered, but a lot of it was put in by him. Yeah,
I mean, when I first moved here and I first lived in Koreatown, and I had 2 roommates. We were both paralegals, and they were gonna have brutal hours, and then they were gonna go to law school, and I was like the actor. You know, I had no job, no prospects. It was just wake up and go see if I can audition somewhere. And he told me, it's like, listen, if you want to make this work for yourself, you have to wake up before they do and go to bed after they do. Right? Use them as guidance for how hard you should work. No day should you sleep until 10. And I think he was nervous because if I didn't have structure, I'm living in New York City, no boss, no clock to punch in and punch out. What am I going to do? And so it freaked me out. I also did have a clock, like, I only had so much money to live here. And unless I figured out a way to make money, like, I'd have to leave.